Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Wise Guys Entertainment. This is your host, Wyman. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are here today with our guest, Pixel Trader of the Crustacean Crew, or Team Mercmaid, as it were. I want to welcome you to the channel. I could be wrong, but I think this may be your first visit to the channel. Oh, can you hear me? Are you still there?
Yeah, sorry.
All right.
I had a different tab opened up for whatever reason. It started duplicating your voice, so I had to try to find which one it
Oh, is that
was.
going? Gotcha.
Yeah, we're good. Yeah, sorry about
Right on.
that.
No worries, no worries. So as uh, as I tend to do, I like to start every promotional stream getting to know the creator better.
Sure.
So I'd love to know, Pixel Trader, what is your origin story? That is, what was it like growing up? How did you? What kind of nerdy things were you into, and how did you get involved in the comic book industry?
Gotcha. I grew up in a small town. I had a lot of really close friends, but primarily my core group of friends were all into comic books and stuff. And so early on, I was always like an artist type. I love to draw, love to just anything creative, cartoons and stuff. I At first I thought I was actually going to be like either an animator or comic book artist for my career, and so I was just kind of chasing that for the longest time. And I think really what kind of kicked off my like big kind of dive into comics was actually Bloodstrike #1. I saw that on a shelf. I'd got books before here and there, like Punisher was a big book that I followed regularly. Um, but I didn't really like collect until around the time that Image came out, and that first Bloodstrike book really caught my attention. And it was from that point forward where I dove headlong into comics, and this is what I want to do. I love this. I want to, I was doing pages and stuff, trying. I wanted to like get the whole discovery thing, and then try to pitch stuff. I actually took a portfolio to Comic Con in '97, and didn't get picked up or anything, but it was a good experience. But yeah, it was interesting. Like I coming from a small town, um, I didn't have a lot of exposure to like big cities and culture outside of what I could absorb, and plus the internet was still fairly new because I mean this is early '90s when I was still in school, and then graduated in '97. Um, so like the technology and stuff was changing, the internet was really starting to pick up, and it was around that time I got into the internet and web development, and that's kind of what kickstarted my career. And so I joined a startup. It's been a couple of years bouncing between different startups and companies and things, and now I'm with a massive company as a software engineer. I've been doing that for years now, but it's just really interesting. Like the arc that I took, I thought it was going to be creative, but the interesting part was that once I got into the development side of stuff, I realized that it still kind of like scratches that itch I have for creation, but it's just on a more technical level, I guess is the way to put it. So like I have to come up with creative solutions for the things I'm doing, like automation work, and
Mm.
so it's cool. Like I still get to do the art stuff on the side. I don't have to worry about it being a career. I can still enjoy it and not make it something that's gonna burn me out because I have to do it daily for my paycheck. But I mean, I would do it for a paycheck if somebody would hire me, but I just know that as I am right now, I do like the work I'm doing, and this is fun to do on the side. But yeah, so a long way around it is like I started out really small. Now I'm in a big city. I'm in San Diego. I've got a family now. What's funny is because when I came into like the whole indie scene, um, I was I wasn't married yet even. So I mean, my wife and I had been dating for almost 10 years at that point, but it was like this whole thing where we lived together. We just hadn't got married yet. But um, then we started our family. Like in 2020, we had our first, and so it's just really interesting how all this stuff has changed over the time that I'm involved in indie comics. But man, there's a whole story here. I could go on forever. Like it's just funny to look back at like 2018, like launching IndieCron, helping people make all the money that they made through crowdfunding, and then come all the way here to 2025, where I have a campaign on Kickstarter, have a successful campaign on FMC. Actually, well, I guess they're both successful at this point, but just how things have taken that course since first starting. It's really interesting.
Nice. Did you say the title of the book you got into was Bloodstrike, and that spurred your
Bloodstrike.
interest?
Yeah, Image Bloodstrike. Um, Dan Frege actually was one of his first. I think it was his first book that he drew.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he was doing finishes over Rob.
Out of curiosity, what was it about Bloodstrike that drew you to it? Did you like the dynamic action sequences, the story, the characters?
I think it was a combination of things, but gimmicks being gimmicks, the rub the blood cover was the first thing that got my attention. And then you get into the book. Image, of course, they kind of changed the game. The paper quality was better. The the coloring was all being done digital, or was I think it was done digital by the time they launched. If it wasn't, then they shifted very quickly. I can't remember now. It's been a while. I have to pop that book back open. But yeah, I mean, Rob Liefeld being the way he was, the dynamics of the work that he had, it just kind of drove the way that Image Comics kind of did their thing, and all those guys were super dynamic, just superstars at the time. And yeah, it just shaped my opinion of comics, and I pretty much went exclusive to Image for many years, and then
Cool.
started to branch back out. So it's weird that like I like I said, I collected a little bit here and there. I grabbed a few books from the store whenever I could find them. Punisher, Daredevil, some other stuff, but I didn't really fully get into the collecting side of things until Image.
Nice. And you mentioned you're a software engineer.
Yeah.
Does that involve a lot of programming and stuff?
Yeah. So
You said
the
problem solving and finding
the core of
solutions.
what I'm doing is automation work. So
Oh,
we have like websites and applications that are running that I write code that actually goes through and tests. So it pretends to be a user, logs in, tries to click on things.
cool.
If it encounters problems or things don't show up the way it's expecting, it reports back, and then we file bugs and things. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, it was just kind of interesting because I, at one point, envisioned myself being an animator or a cartoonist myself. And I ended up getting bit by the computer bug, as it were, and followed a career in tech support.
Okay.
And I've been in that ever since. So
Gotcha.
it's kind of similar. And
Nice.
you've got the opportunity to troubleshoot and take that creative aspect and to feel some sort of fulfillment and
Yeah.
do art on the side. So fun stuff.
Yeah. Do you have
Uh,
certifications for like different
actually,
tech
believe it
supports?
or not, no. Everything
No.
is self-taught.
Gotcha. Yeah,
Um,
I started out that way, and then have slowly. Actually, I went back to school about 2 years ago, give or take. I took a break in the middle because of the
nice.
kids, but I started picking up certifications as part of that, and so I've picked up A plus, Net plus, Sec plus, a few others just along the process here because I'm getting a cloud computing degree.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I just went as far as associate sciences technical degree, compu- uh, engineering technology electronics, they called it.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So it's technically an AS degree, uh, but I did one of those things where you take just enough classes so that you can tack on a couple other degrees and
Right.
certificates.
Yeah.
Um, all right, so we've got the campaign. This is yesterday, as we discussed off line. I did a whole live stream just discussing the campaign on Kickstarter,
Yeah.
but this all started on Fund My Comic, in fact.
Correct.
And
Yeah.
did you want to take a moment to discuss how this originated, this
Sure.
IP?
Yeah, I think it probably needs to go all the way back to the post on X or Twitter at the time. But what had happened was Disney had just announced the new Little Mermaid movie, and there was a lot of backlash about the actor or actress rather, and people were all up in arms about the way they were handling things. And then I think there was something to do with guns that was happening. AR-15 was in the news; it was trending. So I had been playing with AI. I thought it would be funny to post something just to annoy kind of everybody at the same time. And so I generated a picture of a mermaid holding a machine gun. The gun was absolutely horrendous because AI couldn't draw guns very well at that time. So I went into Photoshop, I actually put in a new gun, made the hand and stuff. I cleaned up some of the picture. I added the red hair, and then I did the little layout to make it look like a comic book cover. And I posted it just to see what would happen. And well, if you get down, it's at the time it was over 500 likes. I think a lot of those counts have been banned since then, but uh, it's just funny to see how this thing has transitioned. And I'd say within an hour of posting that, both Eric and Piper were in my DMs. Piper's like, I have a story I think in mind that I think would work perfect for this. I'm writing this. And then Eric is all like, I don't care what we have to do. I want to draw this. You have my hands. Let's make this thing happen. And so by the end of the day, we had a team formed and we knew we were going to make a project, and we had the basic outline of the book ready to go. And we were just throwing ideas at the wall to see what would stick. And I think we formed something really cool. But yeah, it was a shit post, literally, like just something to kind of see what would happen and poke fun at a bunch of current events, and it blew up. And we
For
took it
sure.
from that to being what it is now, which is this crazy book that made $21,000 on FMC. We're over 6,000 on Kickstarter already. I would love to get that to 9. I don't know if we're going to reach that. That's pretty high considering we'd have to get another 3K. But that would put us over 30 overall for the entire project, which is amazing, especially considering I'm a first time creator.
Oh
And so this is
yeah.
my first book
This
out the gate. Yeah.
these numbers are great for a first time creator. A lot of first time creators get lucky if they hit 3,000, 5,000.
Agreed.
Um,
Yeah.
I love this follow up tweet. You should. I've been told people at Disney have seen this. They were apparently amused. Laughs followed by uneasy silence.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll dig it. Of course, this is pretty
Yeah.
badass. Even considering it's AI.
Yeah. It's funny. I'm really curious what's going on behind the scenes over there, but at the same time, I really don't want them to pay too much attention to us. I would just like to get this
For
out and
sure.
be done with it and move on to the next project. But they
Exactly.
they get mad. They can get mad, but they didn't say anything to FMC. They haven't said
Right.
anything to Kickstarter, so I'm not too worried about it. We're going to just stay in our lane. We try to differentiate ourselves enough that we strictly say we are not affiliated with Disney. She is not a Disney princess. She has red hair, so I mean, there are a lot of mermaids that have red hair. She doesn't wear shells on her chest. There's plenty of stuff. Her name isn't Ariel; it's Coral in the book, and so there's
Right.
plenty of things there that differentiate her. But
And
yeah.
it was on the other campaign, actually, the Kickstarter one,
Mhm.
that specified it had kind of a disclaimer indicating that. Oh, actually, no, that was the one about it
Oh, the
being
FAQ.
not crafted by AI. It must be the FAQs I was reading.
It's in the FAQ on I think both of them actually. This one has it too. I believe we say we're not affiliated with Disney. What's kind of cool though too is to look at the FMC versus the Kickstarter to see how some of the art has changed. We
Right,
actually
right.
updated one of the covers. Actually, we updated a couple of the covers, but Eric's cover in particular, he went back and redid her face because he felt that it didn't represent his art later in the book. His style evolved during the production of the book. And so the
Mm,
early pages have more of a realistic kind of, I mean, they're still cartoony, but definitely he really got into the character design and he just leveled up. That's the only way I can put it. He leveled up during the production of the book. And after like the first 20 pages or so, it really ramps up and he just did a fantastic job on it.
nice. Excellent. On the on my previous stream, I actually didn't go much into the. Uh, well, let me see. There's cocaine shark. There's the patch. I was looking
Yeah,
at
even
some of the stretch goals.
yeah,
There's a
even
6
Cocaine
a.m.
Shark changed. The cover for that got updated too. That was his original meme that he made right
Okay.
after he heard about Cocaine Bear. He was like, "Oh, I want to do Cocaine Shark," and so he did his thing, and then it wound up becoming what it is now. And it's a great book. It's
Si-
so much fun.
Since this turned into kind of this has been kind of a whirlwind project.
Yeah.
What has it been like, being in Team Mercmaid? Uh, did you guys like meld together easily? Do you guys bounce off each other creatively really well?
Uh, for the most part, yeah. So
Do you ever butt
we
heads?
all, we did that, but so here, the nice thing about this is that because we all started as friends anyway.
Hmm.
But the interesting part of this is like the dynamic of it, where I have the core vision of what I wanted to see happen, and so kind of like since it's like created by me, but where I have the other two as I list them as co-creators because they've really brought this world to life. But I kind of take that executive role there and say, okay, this is what's going to happen here. And so like when there's any type of dispute about something, I'll weigh it and we'll kind of go one way or the other depending on how we all feel about it. But I'll be the tiebreaker if I need to. Um, what happened early on was we were just throwing as much stuff like at it. Hey, what if we do this? Can we do this? Should we do this? Can we do that? And so we just built up this pile of potential ideas and scenes and things. And then Piper came in and just did an amazing job of crafting a world where all this stuff could exist, and then took the key points of everything that we kind of threw out and said, okay, this stuff works, this stuff doesn't, we can save this for later, and was able to put together a cohesive story based on the lore from the original book, adapting it into our kind of world and like how we want to tell the story, and did a great job with that. And then Eric came in, was doing the artwork and stuff. And there were times where, because Piper being the writer, she has a specific vision in her head. She's also an editor at times, and so there were places where they were butting heads, like as far as the artwork and stuff would go. And I said, you know what, I will step in. I'll be the creative director essentially, and I will handle the decision making on all that stuff. You focus on finishing the story. You work on the art, and I will manage the whatever stuff here and there. So I kind of separated those sides of it, which is fun for Piper now because she doesn't have to worry about the editorial stuff. I'm doing all that now, and
Mm.
she gets to enjoy the pages when they come in because she doesn't see them until they're pretty much done. There's a few places where I'm like, okay, we need to take a look at this and make some decisions here to change this or that. How do you think we should approach that? And then we all get together as a team and we discuss it. But we've been in a DM group since that first day, and we just that thing is full of content, and so we just reference things. We go back and look at, okay, when was this said? How do we want to do this in case we ever needed to go back and check something? And that's just how we do it. It's been a very, very collaborative process along the entire way, and so far it's worked out pretty well.
Would you say this is one of those projects that you've already started building a universe, and it would probably be wise if you haven't already started one to create what they call a Bible for the IP, where you literally keep the lore intact and helps keep track of everything, whether it be a physical version or a Google Doc or a Access database or something to that effect?
We haven't gone that far yet, but the book itself kind of serves as the Bible at this point. Anything else is really up in the air since it's only one book so far.
Mhm.
There is lore that's established. There's definitely things like just for instance, the gun is called the AR-13L or A-13L. So that's the Nazi based weapon that you'll see the Nazi symbol inside the one, actually on one of the pages on this page, and in the other campaign there's a little symbol that you'll see. What had happened was the smuggler, because they're in Argentina, they're trading with some of the Nazis that had escaped or had fled to Argentina, and you never see them. They're never really mentioned. They're just hinted at being there, and that's where these weapons come from. And the weapon is a special prototype that was developed based on stolen plans from the AR. I think it was the AR-15, or it's a predecessor of the AR-15.
Okay.
But this is all stuff that's in our lore, but not really real world stuff.
Right, right,
And
right.
but that's where the guns come from, and that thing we have to keep in mind. And so we have this whole other potential idea where she goes and fights Nazis. We could totally do that now because we've established that they're there, that they're around where she lives. um, we've talked about a lot of stuff that we can do, but that's kind of things that have been pushed off to the side. We have those available to us if we want to do a follow-up, or if we want to do a prequel or whatever we can do there. The lore for Sebastian has been established to where uh, I know Eric says a sushi boat or a sushi restaurant. I don't know when sushi was created. I would have to check the timeline on that, but
Right, right. I don't know.
whatever the case is, I think it's still funny that it would be a sushi restaurant that he escapes, and so we may do that anyway. But my idea for it was very similar, but it was a galley, so it could be a floating sushi restaurant. I don't know, but he escapes that, and that's how he gets damaged. He got hurt
Mm,
while escaping. He actually fought his way out of the restaurant.
nice.
But like again, that's one of those things that you don't see because it's not part of this book. It's just lore that we established. Um,
Sweet.
yeah, but I've got a whole prequel, like little golden book kind of thing for him
Oh
And
yeah.
I would love to do. Yeah, I would love to do it. I haven't. I've got the plot for it, and I have the ideas for how it would work. And then it would end on one page, which is the ending for kids.
All
But if
right.
you keep going, it goes beyond that into the darker story of how he actually escapes.
Ooh,
And
that sounds cool.
yeah, so you can read it like a little golden book, and then at the very ending page of the kids' version of the story, right before things twist, uh, there's a warning that says, only, at least this is in my mind, it would say, only continue if you're, over the age of something or other. And then what happens is, or at least in my mind, how I wanted this to work was the book would actually force you to turn it sideways. So, like, because little golden books tend to have a more of a square format to them,
Yeah,
and so
yeah.
you would turn the book sideways, and then it would be a vertical page, like a long page, of him
Oh,
descending into chaos. And
okay.
I've already talked to an artist that I would love to have work on that, and it would be just insane. Like, uh, everything goes to hell. He's fighting his way out of the kitchen, and he escapes. And the ending is basically him getting away and like covered in whatever guts and different stuff, and it just descends into chaos.
Oh wow. That
Yeah,
sounds like a trip.
yeah, it would be
I
fun though.
I was showing off the one of the stretch goals from earlier, which is the uh, 6 a.m. comics
Mhm.
sticker. Um, is it just my eyes or the angle at which the light was hitting it, where the tail does it? Is it one of those like reflective things where it changes color based on the
They're
angle you're
iridescent.
looking at? All right,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
And then on the triptych, I was confusing this with that other term, but this basically means you've got three cards that form one image, right? One long
Right,
image
yeah.
if you have them side by side.
Yep.
I was confusing it with where you look at a single image card and then you tilt it at different angles and you see
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
all
yeah,
the,
yeah. I can't remember the name of that now, but yeah.
yeah, like what Shane Davis is doing on his anatomic book
Yeah.
um, as the sign up card. But this is really cool. This is going to come included with every order, as I understand. All these
Yeah, yeah.
stretch goals.
So these were originally unlocked with the Fund My Comic, but I wanted to still have stretch goals in this one, so I set them very low because I knew we'd hit those goals. So I made those as stretches for Kickstarter. But this is new, and the cool thing about this, though, anybody that backed us on FMC is still going to get this book.
Nice.
It's a digital book only, art of book that contains some behind the scenes stuff, as well as all of the fan art, any piece of fan art that I can find that people had done for the book, with permission. Obviously, I'm going
Yeah, yeah.
to put it together and present it as a digital book for people
Very
to check
cool.
out. Yeah.
And then this is an homage to the Akira cover.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm almost finished with that. I got a little bit more to do. I've changed her hair a little bit. I got to finish some of the coloring on that, but yeah,
Cool.
that's my piece.
And discussion of spot gloss.
Yep.
Then it's at like 6,000, isn't it?
It's at 6,000 now. And so one of the later updates mentions, okay, well, we hit it. And here's where we're at. And so
Yeah. Sweet.
the $5,000 stretch goal is actually a postcard. It's going to be the tour poster.
Oh, right, right.
It's a card. Yeah, I thought that would be cool too because a postcard and it being a tour, it kind of made sense for those to go together. And so
Now, was was that announced on Twitter, or is it actually in the Kickstarter or the uh, one of the campaign pages updates?
it's on this update right here, the Stabby campaign update. I've announced it a bunch of places, but it mentions it here as well.
Oh, I love that crab celebration thing. And this is wicked. This piece right here,
I love it. Yeah, such a
the
fun
world
piece.
tour.
What I really love about this is the original version of this I still have, but Sebastian had the knife in his hand, and I'm like, if
It's too
she's
much.
given up, yeah, if she's given up her weapon for the base, or yeah, it's a base. Um, I said I think he needs to have a mic, and I'm like, yeah, let's do that. And then if you look really closely at his mouth, originally the mouth wasn't open. I'm like, no, you know what? He's got to be singing. He's the lead singer. And so we opened
Yeah,
up his mouth, and he's got a little musical note in his mouth.
yeah, I see that. That's such a trip. I really love this piece. Uh, who did this one?
Oh man, I can never say his name right. Let me. I'll pull up a Nicole. He he's a digital artist. He does a combination of like AI stuff as well as hand drawn stuff. And from what I can tell with this piece, it was pretty much all hand drawn. There were some of his later stuff is AI, and I didn't really care for it. I actually
Right.
told him that, but I'll have to go back and take a look, man.
Nice.
I'll grab his name for you.
And
But yeah, he did a good job on that.
speaking of the world tour, this is a freaking brilliant idea. Having all
Yeah.
the shows you guys were on promoting the book, and
Yeah, I wish I would have kept better track during the first campaign because that would have been fun to do as well for the previous ones.
oh
But
yeah, for sure.
yeah, this was a
So
nice way to kind of build hype for this campaign.
here's a question on the. So it started on Fund My Comic. Has that already been fulfilled?
No, no,
Okay.
because we were still in production for the book. Well, here's what happened too. We got started on the production of it. Things were going pretty well. Eric had a few things that he had to work on as well, so he was starting to fall a little bit behind, but not too bad. But uh, he wound up having to take a major project, and so we got slowed down there. And then our colorist stopped responding pretty much. He just got, I think he got overwhelmed with other work that he was doing, and
Mhm.
he's a fantastic colorist. But we were getting like, I would send him a page, I wouldn't hear anything for almost a month. And then I was like, "Hey, what's going on? Can you give me an update?" And then within like a day, I would suddenly get the page back, and it just wasn't looking like. I honestly it didn't look like he did it. I'm kind of.
Mm,
I think he might have had somebody else working with him. I don't know for sure, and I hate to speculate like that, but
yeah, yeah.
it got to a point where I looked at the timeline, I looked at the work we were getting. I wasn't happy with the coloring. We were having to send back tons of stuff saying, "No, no, fix this, fix this, fix this." It was going to be years before we finished this book. Like, I don't think we would have got it out for another 5 years at the pace we were going. And I said, okay, we can't continue like this. I thanked him for his work. I said, but we've got to part ways. This just isn't working. And so we looked for a new colorist. Big Boy Robo came on the team, has been doing a fantastic job with the coloring. I think we have about 10 pages left to
Okay.
color. But he also went back and started recoloring the pages that we had the original colorist do because I felt like it was too harsh of a change. He's tried to emulate his style a lot, but Robo just has a very unique way that he colors that I don't think was quite meshing with the other stuff. And so the first like 4 pages for now were part of the campaign, and I think look good. We're still retained at this point. We're trying to decide whether or not we're going to go ahead and replace those as well. But for now, everything past page 4 is essentially going to be Robo stuff.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. And so that
And
took a little bit longer, but we've kept everybody updated. We've been posting stuff, information about the campaign, letting people know what was going on. And we've said as soon as this campaign closes out, we get the funds. We should be fairly close to printing. I think we'll go to print probably by the end of the month. But what we're going to do is digital fulfillment first. And so basically everybody in the back is going to get the digital copy because everybody gets it. We're not doing the thing where you have to buy the physical and you have to buy the digital. It's if you bought physical or if you bought digital, you're getting a copy of the book.
okay.
And once that's out for at least a week, maybe 2 weeks, we'll see. At that point, we'll go ahead and go to print. But what I wanted to do is give people time to absorb the book. And if they see any issues that we didn't catch during editorial, it still has time for us to fix it before we go to
Mm,
print. And so
okay.
it's nice to have like an extra set of eyes, or in this case, 500 plus set of eyes on the
Yeah,
book.
yeah, for sure. And let me see. Again, I'm not all that familiar with Kickstarter
That's
specifically,
okay.
but when do you anticipate this will be fulfilled? I mean, when will physical copies start being
Sure.
mailed out?
Once we go to print, we're saying September is probably when it's going to happen. What I've done is I've already reached out to Critical Blast and asked him to go ahead and take over the fulfillment portion of this because the campaign grew much bigger than we anticipated. Originally, we were going to do it ourselves, and so we hadn't consulted with him. But then it got to this point, we're like, okay, we need to make sure that we do the fulfillment correctly. He has worked with a ton of campaigns. Everything that he's ever sent me has been fantastic. And so I'm like, I don't care if it costs a little bit more to have the fulfillment done the right way, I'd much rather do that. And so we are going with him for fulfillment. And we anticipate the books getting to him around September. It really depends on the printing, but we're going
Cool.
to keep everybody up to speed on what happens. We're going to get that to the printer, make sure we do a test run that we can confirm everything looks good, and then kick
So
it off.
proof copy, you mean?
Yeah, proof copy.
All
We're
right.
gonna get a proof copy in. I actually want to do physical proof if I can. It's going to be coming from China though, so that's going to take a little extra time.
Okay.
But yeah, I want to make sure we have a physical proof in hand to make sure everything looks good.
So the printing is being done in China, but the
Correct.
fulfillment, critical blast, he's in the States, right?
Yeah, he's in the States, so they'll be shipped to the States, and then he'll be consolidating all the stuff. Like we've got cards. I mean, there's a ton of stuff: cards, patches, pretty much everything else. We've got
Right,
bins,
right, exactly.
standees. The shirts have to be ordered. The boxes for the special perks have to be ordered. There's a few little pieces that need to be like wrapped up, but yeah.
And everything ships anywhere in the world.
Correct.
Is Critical Blast set up such that you're going to print a batch in the US, a batch in Australia, a batch in Canada, a batch in Europe, and then locally there's going to be distribution to
No,
cut down on shipping costs? Or
no, it's all going to be distributed from the U.S. There's just we don't have partners in other countries that can really
okay,
handle that, and as far as I know, he doesn't either. So it would be a
all
little
right,
more difficult to do it that way. Yeah.
gotcha. And with Kickstarter, once these 3 days pass, does it officially close permanently, or is there such thing as a store front mode like
They they
Indiegogo on my
recently
comic?
they recently implemented a late pledges thing, but you have to turn it on. I was
Uh,
discussing it with the team, and what I think we're going to do is go ahead and just let the campaign end instead of kind of dragging things on. Now I know I'm going to be at Comic Con in San Diego,
oh,
July. I'm going to be walking around. I'm not going to be actually exhibiting, but I'm going to be
oh,
walking
good.
around, meeting with people, and handing out stickers and whatnot. But
Nice,
I am going to promote the book, and so
cool.
once the campaign ends, there will be. I got to decide how we want to handle this, and we got to get our print numbers figured out first. But we may do a limited pre-order um, on our actual website instead. I just have to get that set up, so we're still looking at that. The other thing that's really kind of interesting though that I haven't seen anybody do yet though, for all of the FMC digital backers and the digital deluxe backers from Kickstarter, there is a what we call the digital upgrade path. And so the amount of money that you paid, which was $10 for the digital edition, will be applied to the purchase of a physical copy that's $20. So it would cost you $10 to get a physical edition if you wanted to upgrade between the time that we do the digital fulfillment before we go into physical fulfillment. So there's a window there that we're opening up for people to upgrade if they want to. Um, After we start fulfillment, that deal goes away. But so it's incentive to upgrade if you really want to get the book. So what we're hoping is that we've incentivized digital backers to go ahead and get the physical edition because they like the book so much.
Right. Yeah, I was checking into that. I was reading up on the FAQs about the digital upgrade. That's an
Mhm.
interesting concept. And I think you're going to have like a 60-day window roughly of
Roughly,
when you
yeah. I
can
mean, it's basically
take
the time it's going
advantage
to
of it.
take to get the book printed and over and make sure that all of our stuff is ready to go. At least 60 days. We may do more. We may extend it to 90, but at least 60 days between the digital and physical fulfillment.
Now, I don't know, maybe it's too early to discuss, but have you guys talked about Ariel the Mercmaid 2? Or are you going to
Mm,
wait and see how the fulfillment goes and see how people respond to the book once they get in their hands?
We've discussed it. There's definitely plans that we could go through and do. We definitely want to see how people respond to the book to see even if the demand is really there. But we would handle it different. So the reason this book is also kind of taken so long is because it started out as 48 pages. Through stretch goals, we increased it to 60. Now, throughout
64
the development
plus.
of the book, we've also added a few extra pages. Plus, we added Cocaine Shark, and so there's 80 pages of content that we've added to or that we have on this book, and only 4 or 5 pages of the book were really created before we started the campaign. And part of that was because we had a window from the time that this came to be what it is to the point where we launched the campaign. We only had 8 months to promote and get people ready for it, because we were targeting the movie release date. So we said, okay, we have a week before the movie release date. We want to launch our campaign on that day. We can't go past that. That's our launch date. So we did everything we could to promote and get that thing live at that point, and then started developing the book. If we were to do part two, I think we'd want to go ahead and either get the book at least art finished, maybe not colors, but at least art finished before we ever take it to crowdfunding. And so that would kind of delay things a little bit more too. But as far as getting it into hands, it would get people the book faster, in a perceived way. But
Mm.
yeah, it's just a matter of, how far along we get, how people feel about it, and really the availability of the team. Because Eric is really busy right now. He's got like three different projects that he's working on at the moment, and
Oh wow.
so we'd have to find that window. Yeah.
Right. Um, and I think kind of actually, hold on. Um,
Although I have teased a separate project called Mercules, which is kind of in the same universe,
oh,
but
really?
yeah, Mercules is Hercules, but so North Korea is tricked into coming back through time to attack Hercules, and yeah. So it's kind of, it's crazy. It's really crazy. But Hera is frustrated with trying to take out Hercules, and she's like, you know what, this isn't working. But maybe powers from the future, the forces there, maybe like a military force from the future can help me. And so she winds up convincing North Korea to come back and try to take him out. And it's insane. I mean, the very first like segment that we're working on right now, because we've already written part of the story. It's me and Michael Oden, and then we
Oh,
have
all right.
an art. We have an artist from overseas that's going to be doing the art. Uh, it's crazy. Like they nuke him like right in the very beginning of the book, trying to take him out, and then he survives, and he's really pissed off. He's got a pair of Uzis that he's carrying. Um, yeah,
Well, that's
it's
different.
incredible. Yeah, it's insane. It was so
Um,
much fun.
I think we were kind of sharing parts of it already, but in terms of how much progress is made on the project itself, the book,
Hmm.
is it sounds like all of the pencils and inks are done on Mercmaid, and then you're maybe what 60%, 70% done with colors.
We're closer to like 80% on colors. Yeah, we're like, I think we're 10 pages finished or away from being finished with colors, except for some revision work and some adjustments to some earlier pages. It's pretty much
And
done. Lettering is about 25%. That's on me. I've got a lot of lettering to do, but then we'll get there. There's some graphic design work that needs to be done just to wrap up the inside cover and some of the gallery stuff towards the end, and then we go to print. Well, we go to digital first, and then we go to print.
and
But yes,
did you say Cocaine Shark is totally done? Is
yeah, it's
completed?
already done. It's already been test printed. Digital fulfillment of that has already gone out for FMC. So yeah, it's in people's hands already.
All right, cool, cool, cool. I wanted to briefly run through the quote unquote rewards, as they say.
Okay.
So, anyone who's interested in backing this project, you got 3 days, so do it. I was looking at the GI Joe homage, and I totally love it.
Yeah,
It, if I'm not mistaken, that's a seal, like a Navy
that is a
seal.
seal. That is a seal.
Um,
Yeah.
is there a seal character in the book already, or is that maybe
There's
a
not.
Easter
That
egg?
that's a just purely a insert that Matt Barr had done when he did the artwork for it.
All
It's
right.
actually it's actually a nod to his brother, who goes by the name Dell. There's a little name Dell on the tag there, but
Oh, all right.
his brother was a seal, and
Nice.
so it's a nod to his brother.
Nice. One of the things I particularly love, and I mentioned it on my other stream of this promo,
Hmm.
um, is the whole load of weaponry. It's like the
Yeah,
package. I just love action figures, GI Joes that are stacked to the brim with weapons.
it's
It's
when
so
I
much
had my
fun.
buddy do the 3D model, so that thing can actually be printed. It's a real 3D model. The one
Yeah,
thing I loved about Marvel when they did the Star Wars figures and stuff, or they sorry, not the figures, but the homage cover kind of thing to the toys. I liked it a lot, but I always felt like the figure didn't quite look right because it was illustrated. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I want to go beyond that. I want to take it a little bit further. And so I talked to my buddy LJ. I'm like, dude, please do this for me. And he's like, hell yeah, let's do it. And so I actually have a full size Sebastian that's like the size of my fist,
Oh my
and
gosh, I'm so jealous.
he's here. Yeah, he's here. He's fully articulated. And then the toy hasn't been printed yet. It still needs some refinement for her, but uh, he did the full model for it and then rendered it out for me. But she's got a minigun, the rifle, a pistol, and then some hand grenades.
And
And then
Sebastian's included
and
too.
Sebastian. And the funny part is that Sebastian that's right there is actually the model for the toy that I've got on my desk right now. He just shrunk it down to put it in there with her.
Oh man. Um, I got to give you your team kudos for putting together such a cool book and campaign, and you
Thank you.
with all your promotion and all the crazy ads and the amazing sense of witty humor is
Oh yeah.
really knocking it out of the ballpark.
I've been pushing it, trying to do whatever I could, and I just anytime something wacky hits my brain, I'm like, yes, that sounds great. Let me let me try that. There have been a few times the guys were like, I don't know, and then it worked out really well.
And I also have to say, Piper's amazing. She, like you said, she's an editor and well, she's also a voice actress, as I understand, and a writer.
Mhm.
Um, one of the running jokes on, I guess, Twitter is whenever the campaigns are promoted, they forget that she's one of the creators.
Yep.
Oops, sorry.
Justice for Piper.
Yeah, exactly. Justice for Piper. And then, damn, your artist, he rocks. I saw him at a con recently, and I actually purchased some of his prints.
Oh, nice.
I enjoy his work, and I'm digging what I see on Mercmaid. Um, so I'm starting to get used to the layout of the Kickstarter rewards and stuff. It shows you all the tiers and stuff. I mean, all the add-ons that you can put on each of these
Yeah.
levels. You got
Yeah.
the standard, you got the digital deluxe, where you get both of them on PDF, aerial and cocaine chart. You got cover A, cover B, cover C, and then cover D is on the Fund My Comics site, and then it goes to just skip to
Yeah.
is E also a special one on Fund My Comic?
Mm,
It
So
goes from C
E,
to F.
I think it's because of the way it's ordered. It's the featured cover. E is at the very
Oh,
top there.
right, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So I marked it as featured. Yeah, D isn't available here because it's only from my comic. D actually got sorry, cover E was on Fund My Comic, but only for about a week. It was a special kind of pre-order where
Oh,
I
right,
allowed I allowed backers from FMC to get it without extra shipping costs applied. So they basically just added it to their order.
nice,
Here, if they wanted to get it here, they'd have to pay the shipping. But
nice.
yeah.
And
And then
then,
cover F is a little bit more than the rest of them because she's a classy girl and you got to pay to see the view. And so we do that.
for sure,
But yeah, it ships uncensored, so her assets are available.
yeah. Um, instead of a QR code, that's hilarious. A QR code. If you scan that QR code, it's going to open up to the campaign, right?
You should scan it and see.
Oh, all right. I'll do that. I'll do that
Don't
later.
worry, it's safe for work, I promise. But yeah,
Okay, sweet. I'll have to check it out. Oh, you know what? It's probably going to be. It's going to be Rick Astley. It's going to be a Rick roll.
it's not a Rickroll, but it's close. It's very close. Actually,
uh,
if you're familiar with the meme, it's Michael Jordan saying, "Stop that."
oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. I love that meme or clip.
He's like, "Do better."
That's great. And then the Crustacean Crew Pack for
Yep.
Kickstarter. Was there something similar on Fun My Comic? I don't remember.
There is for Fun My Comic. The only major difference between the two is that it's got the exclusive cover. So
Oh,
this one has the adult cover in it, um, but the FMC has the Eric Nadeltalski cover. Everything else is
uh,
the same. Now the shirt I think might be different. I can't recall now. There was an early version of the Crustacean Crew. Actually, I think it was I think it's the Crustacean Crew pack. We had like 2 or 3 packs that varied, but one of them had the black and white shirt, and
oh,
then
black
we
and white.
switched to color. Yeah,
Okay. All right. Nice, nice. Um, this is a hell of a good pack, and as I was commenting previously, this is actually very reasonable for what 5 covers,
yeah,
the book itself, the second book, the digital copies, the bookmark, which does have information on both sides, thankfully.
yeah.
Um, the
I don't
T-shirt.
remember. I don't remember if I listed it, but I think there was actually supposed to be a metal card as well. It might not be on
All
this
right.
one. I'll have to look. Yeah, I
Mhm.
have to take a look and see. If it's not, it probably will be in there. I can't guarantee it because it's not. If it's not listed, I won't guarantee it. But I think we were
Gotcha.
going to do a metal card with all these as well.
Right, right, right. And I actually like this. Love this image on the dark gray.
Yeah, me too.
Um, and you got a what's it called again? The
Standee.
standee,
Yeah,
acrylic
acrylic.
standee, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, all right. So I don't see one here, but do you have? Well, it's so late in the campaign that you probably won't offer a tier above this where you have the same things here, but you also include both skateboard decks plus all the Keshis.
Yeah, I decided not to go that route.
You would need to use them at put add-ons, right?
Yeah,
So
you'd have
you
to just
pledge
add on.
this and then you add on everything.
Yeah,
Does it
I could I could
factor
potentially
in?
do that, but at this point, it'd probably be a little weird.
Yeah. Does it when you add on the add-ons, it does it like reduce shipping at all, or does it remain the same because some products are shipped from different locations and stuff?
So if you do the add-ons, it'll add a small amount per item.
All
The
right.
Keshis I marked as not adding to because they're so lightweight anyway that
Uh-huh.
I'm not increasing the cost of those. Uh, the books have a small amount that gets added to it for each one. Um, trying to remember exactly how I managed all that, but I know international has like a higher amount per book that also gets
Yeah,
added to. It's just unfortunate, but we have to do that. The
definitely.
skateboard decks though, because they're so big, they actually have to have their own. It's full shipping price for those. I think it's like $17 or $18 is what I posted because it's expensive to ship them. But yeah, it would go separate from the books. I could actually ship those today. I have a stack of them in my garage.
So here's I imagine they were quite popular because they are hella nice looking.
Yeah, they sold
Um,
pretty well on the Fund My Comic.
um, here's a question I wasn't clear on. So with each of these skateboard decks, they're two unique images, right?
There's
And
uh
is
yeah,
it
one go ahead.
is it the same image on each side, or is it
No.
how does it work? Like,
So most skateboard decks, if you were to finish them, the back side of it would just be your grip tape. These because
oh, okay, for you to
they don't
stand
have the
on,
grip
right?
tape on them. Yeah, for you to skate on it. So they just have the wood on the back side of it, and so the image
Okay,
is printed on the one side. Yeah.
all right. So, like, if you wanted to display it, you just hang it up showing the image
Yep.
because the
Yeah.
backside is
I've got a
literally
critical Snell board
glitter.
on my wall right now.
Nice. All right, all right. Um, very cool, very cool. So we got that. I unfortunately missed out on the Fund My Comic campaign because I was broke.
Yeah, that
But
happens. I totally get it. Yeah.
I don't want to miss out this time, um, because I'm really digging this and I love the work you guys are doing.
Thank you.
Did
I
you have
appreciate it.
any pages or anything that you wanted to share that I might
Uh,
not have covered or might have
yeah,
missed?
I would go back over to Sebastian's updates on yeah, that first update that he did. Well, so what I've done, at least on this most recent update, is actually did it in his voice, essentially, like his tone. And so he's giving you the updates of what's going on, like where we got, what we've unlocked, the next thing to hit, and then talks a little bit about the tour itself and how that's going to work. And so, like once we finish the campaign, 3 days, I'm going to finish the graphic design for the poster and the shirt, and those are actually going to become products that we're going to put on our store. For anybody like yourself that has hosted us, those items will be available to you at our cost. So just whatever the cost for production for those items are, you'll have a special location you can get those from. So you would pay your cost and shipping to get those sent to you, and we wouldn't mark them up at all for you.
Now,
Everybody else would have a little bit of a markup for the book, or sorry, for the shirt and stuff.
I'm sorry, did you say these would become available on the Little Mermaid website?
Yeah, I'm going to be setting up we were going to call it Little Mercmaid, but somebody actually already set that up.
Dang, man, that's perfect.
Yeah, so maybe we'll still call it that, but it'll be a different URL. But regardless, there is going to be a store, and yeah, at some point, once we get the book fulfilled, maybe even slightly before we do fulfillment, we are going to open up pre-orders for limited amounts. I'm not sure which covers we're going to have available because these are pretty limited. It's going to really depend on our print run.
Yeah.
And then we'll see from there. But yeah, the book will become available, and then the different merch. There's a really cool GI Joe poster that I showed off, which is just the artwork of, because Billy Basco did a fantastic job on that picture. It's just amazing.
Oh yeah.
He painted over the top of Matt's lines, and it's beautiful. So it's big. It's like a really big poster, and then it just has that AR-13L logo right along the side, like the GI Joe logo. It looks really sweet. So there's that. I don't have that posted anywhere except for on X, and it's buried. I'd have to go find it, but I can do that real quick. But yeah, that's what we're looking at doing there. And then, like I said, these posters will become available. We're not going to extend the campaign on Kickstarter, so once it's done, it's done.
Hmm.
I can't
Yeah.
guarantee that the stretch goals or anything will be available after that point. So there may be some leftover things that are available for like add-on on our site, or maybe I'll bundle them together or something. But for the most part, the core add-on stretch goal things that you're seeing are only going to be available here at this particular price.
Nice. Freaking awesome, man. So yeah, this is the Sebastian ad. I mean the update.
Yeah. Yeah, if you
Um,
keep scrolling down, there's some additional information about the poster, and then I believe we get into the pages towards the bottom. Oh yeah, also the Substack. I've got almost 700 people on my Substack now. So I'm going to be doing an announcement tonight that the campaign is closing down, so everybody can get information on that.
oh,
They can
but
also follow the development from Mercules over there.
real quick, did you say you guys already were on Pop K-pop
Yeah, the
Turnkey
date was
earlier?
wrong on that. Yeah, yeah.
And then June 16th is the Kickstarter closeout. Where's that happening?
It's going to be happening on Art Taber's channel. In fact,
Oh, right.
if you were to go to real quick, did I put the link in? I didn't. Okay. It's
What page?
thelittlemercmaid.com. That's the
All
most
right.
recent. I
Let me
probably should
see.
link to it from here.
I had the page here up on screen, thelittlemermaid.com. This one right here, right?
Yeah.
K-pop, June 12th, May, Project Ed Roll, Morning Hullabaloo.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so yeah, the closeout it's gonna be happening on Morning Hullabaloo, but I just have that indicated there as closing out on June 16th.
Nice, nice, nice. And then, oh, so this is a hyperlink.
Yep. Go straight to your show.
Oh, nice. Awesome,
Yep.
awesome. So cool. All right. Awesome sauce. Yeah. Oh my gosh, this is so freaking cool. This T-shirt. Definitely looking forward to it. Do you say that there's going to be a poster also based off this
I'm going
image?
to do a poster of that as well. Yeah.
Do you know what the dimensions are going to be?
I haven't quite decided yet, but I'm gonna see if I can make it work at 20 by 30. It might not. It might be too might be just pushing it a little too much, and so probably the next size
Oh,
down to be like 18 by 20, I think. Or I don't know. I gotta look and see.
oh darn it! I'm a
I'll
huge
confirm.
I'm a huge proponent of 24 by 36 because I get that size of movie posters to
24 by
hang on my
36.
wall.
Well, tell you what, I will see what I can do. If I need to upsize the picture, I'll see if I can make it work. If I can't, then we'll figure it out. But
Yeah,
yeah,
if it's too expensive cost wise for manufacturing, I totally understand. I'll
yeah.
I can go with the smaller image anyway. Whatever works for you guys, the creators. I'm
Yeah.
down with.
Well, the nice thing about this is it's being done through Printful for the posters and shirts and such, and so it's all print on demand. So we won't make as much on the back end. We're not going to be making anything with the creators that supported us, but uh, we're not really looking to make a profit on it. We're just looking to get the artwork and stuff out and have people enjoy it. So we want people to be able to get the shirts at a relatively cheap price and be able to wear it and show their love for the characters and stuff. We're not looking to make a bunch of money off the merch.
Gotcha. Right on. Were there any other links you wanted to share? Any other images?
Yeah, well, if you go back to the Kickstarter, you can scroll down. You'll be able to see some of the pictures that we posted of earlier or newer pages, and that's in the update with Sebastian there. Yeah,
Before you
this
go,
this is
oh
one of my
yeah,
favorite pages in the book.
the sparkly is because it's like that magic where when water hits her, she turns into a fish, right?
Correct. Yeah, part
Yeah.
of her deal with the sea witch was that she would get legs, but yeah, if she's hit by seawater, specifically, like rain won't do it. Taking a bath wouldn't necessarily do it, but if it's salt water, seawater, yeah, it would affect her.
I crack up at his facial expression. Sebastian.
Yeah,
The-
if you pay close attention, he's got a fish in his mouth, and it actually falls out of the tank at the very top, and then bounces across the floor in front of him on the second panel, and then he's got it in his mouth.
oh, okay.
It's actually Nemo. Is what we were.
Is it really?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
I didn't
Nemo. It's a
catch that.
clownfish.
Okay.
We
Yeah,
we
right,
stuck
right,
little
right.
things like that in. Yeah,
I love the uh, Ariel here. Her
yeah.
facial expression, the positioning of her hand, pulling her hair out of her face.
That's yeah. It just was such a perfect image. I've used that to promote it quite a bit. Eric nailed it.
Yeah,
Then we get a little cheesecake.
yeah, for sure. I had a question about this. Well, now I know that this is a cigar, and he's got a box of cigars and
Mhm.
either brandy or whiskey in the bottle. But this isn't a jackalope, is it? Or is it one of those? It looks like an awful small mounted head. Is
I
what I'm.
honestly couldn't tell you, but it's a massive picture, but I don't know exactly how big does that. It might be a scale issue, honestly.
Okay, all right. I wasn't sure because I whenever I see movies, I see mounted heads, or when I go to antique shops,
Mhm.
I see mounted heads, right? And you think of bears and deer with those huge racks of horns and stuff like
Yeah,
that. So that kind of threw me off. It looked a little smaller than a rabbit.
that's
So
cool. The nice thing about it is catching things like this now, we can take a look at it and talk to each other as a team and say, hey, do we want to make this a little bit larger? And so we can we can move some stuff around.
well,
I'll mention it.
it's not only that, but would you really want it mounted close to a huge painting
Mm.
for interior design purposes? I'm
Well,
getting I'm getting really picky. I know.
Enrique might not be the foremost expert on interior design. Couldn't say for sure.
I like these different angles.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
this is a great scene.
confidential top secret. You got the guy flying in the distance.
Yeah,
Uh, you made this crustaceous curmudgeon believe in something again. Not hope, mind you. That died decades ago. Maybe revenge with a purpose. For the bottom of the brine. Yeah, I loved reading this. This was funny. So cool. So cool. What else? What else have we not covered? Anything else you wanted to add before we wrap things up?
No, I think we pretty much nailed it. I mean, like I said, you mentioned it too. We got 3 days left. We're at 6360 right now. We would love to try to get that as high as we can. I mean, obviously that's everybody's goal, right? But if we broke 9, even 8, 9, that would put us at 30 across the board for the month. And
Nice.
that's kind of that's my little goal that I want to hit. I don't know if we're gonna do it. I know at the end of FMC we actually jumped about 3K at the end of the campaign.
Whoa.
We were on a really big stream at the time though.
Oh my
And so
God.
just that Star Wars girl had brought Eric on for the closeout.
Oh,
And
damn. Nice.
yeah, it worked out really well. So we had a stream that had been booked and it fell through, and so we didn't have anybody, and we were scrambling. And she's like, "Yeah, come on." And
Oh,
they
man.
had met, I think, on gosh, is it a Mandy's stream or maybe it was Shane? I don't remember exactly when, but Eric had just happened to bump into her or met her like a week or
Oh,
two
right.
before.
Yeah,
And it
yeah.
just worked out that way. Yeah.
Nice. Very cool. Anna's cool. I like her a
Yeah.
lot. Let's go ahead and wrap things up and bring this to a close, and let's play the trailer here,
Awesome.
and we'll call it a stream. Um, and before doing so, I want to thank you, Pixel Trader, for your time and scheduling this on such late notice.
No, thank you for having us.
Been
Yeah.
honored to cover this, and I'm going to keep promoting it till the close. And I'm also going to try and catch the RT Bear stream and other promotional stuff. So, not to mention back the project.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and play the trailer. Have a good one, everyone, and thanks for joining us. Back the campaign. You got 3 days left. Want to see that number get higher and number of backers get higher. Take it easy now. Bye.
Let's go, Stabby. Pain's coming for every poor, unfortunate soul in our way.
Mic drop.